the Put It in the Air podcast. This is the Put It in the Air podcast.
Yes. Welcome into the Put It in the Air podcast. I'm your host, Brennan Casello, a.k.a. East Coast Virus.
And I'm Pascal Rawls Philippe, a.k.a. Punks in Drublic.
All right, Punks in Drublic, you had quite the week, and it was really good because the teams you needed to lose lost, almost all of them.
Yeah, for the most part.
And you won.
Yay!
Winner!
Oh, it happens so infrequently that I don't know how to act.
I was almost there with you. Womp womp.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. I don't know. You probably should figure out how to start the right teams each week.
What's the movie with all the personalities in the kid's brain?
I don't know.
The cartoon movie, it's like all the, well, not personalities, all the feelings, like anger and happiness and sadness.
Yeah,
Inside
the new
Out.
one, Inside Out. There you go.
I definitely had a tie on with a flame coming out of my head last couple days. So
Wow.
Annoyed.
Guy,
I
it's
understand.
fantasy football. This is not real life.
I'm
Like, I
invested.
understand that there's real money. I mean, sorry, no real money, IRS. But like, really? Come on, it's fantasy football.
I guess
Why are you
it's-
getting upset over
I
that?
guess it's because we invest a lot of time, effort, and it's fun to,
Honestly,
you know-
I feel worse when we do badly on this than when I do badly in fantasy. Because, like, at least this we have control over. Fantasy is luck for the most part, even though the same people tend to win. But nonetheless, I stand by it.
But this is, this elevates the need to win on, I think, both of our behalves. We need to make the playoffs. As doing a podcast, putting this much time, like, I know everybody puts some time into
As
fantasy.
the kids say, go touch grass.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there's too many screens to be doing that.
As we sit in front of three, and I guess this is like half a screen. This little soundboard that you have.
Yeah, it's lots of little colorful lights. That it is.
So let's talk football. Was there any breaking news this week?
Not really. Just
Was the Joe Douglas news last week or this week? The Jets firing their GM.
that was last week.
That was
but
last
I
week,
think-
right?
I think we covered it
And then-
live, right?
Oh, you're right. I think we did.
did.
And then what about Daniel Jones?
Okay. Yeah, Daniel Jones, the Daniel Jones news.
Um,
That must have broke
Nope.
since our last episode.
no, maybe that was last week. Because let's see. Because Scott picked up Tommy DeVito on waivers.
And played him against
And
me
played
with
him.
the stack of Darius Slayton, who
Bro.
goosed, and I still lost. What the?
And a goose from the Chargers defense as well. Like, how do you lose against someone who's A, is starting Tommy DeVito, and B, has two goose eggs?
I wonder if I had the win on the bench. Oh yeah, once again.
Yeah, you did.
But who's going to
You
play
would-
Michael Pittman
You'd
for
be
real?
in like second or third place right now if you just knew who to start each week.
Yeah. Well, nobody knows
I mean, apparently some people do.
unless
Because
I
they,
had
they don't get it wrong like you do.
the Farmer's Almanac from Back to the Future. I
Maybe
think.
we need to switch it up so that we don't have any benches in our league. And so everyone is picked up off waivers and you have to drop someone or just start a goose.
I never thought of that. That's a really interesting idea.
Right.
Man.
So any other breaking news? I think that's kind of it. Not a lot going on this time of the year. Like,
We might get breaking news during this episode that Daniel Jones signed with the team. Daniel Jones signed with the team. That,
we
is
did
gonna
get
make the
breaking
playoffs.
news that J.K. Dobbins, who got injured, will not be playing for the next couple weeks.
Well, he's not. He's unlikely to play this week, and obviously, I'm looking at it with glass half full.
I mean,
following that,
According to
he's
Bleacher
probably
Report,
gonna be out.
it says won't play Sunday.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, he's a big piece of my team. So fantastic.
and hold on, who are you playing this week?
Oh, I'm playing you.
Yay!
Yay!
But unfortunately, I also found out that Devontae Smith will be out until probably at least week 15, maybe later. So
Great. So you're not going to score 4 with him. Shit.
I mean, there's a chance that you could put up 20, but yeah, probably closer to 8.
Speaking of 20, that's where we stand with the 5-37 bet. I'll
Nice
run
segue.
through.
Well done, my friend.
Yeah, I know. I'm just looking at all the negative shit on this paper here. So, and put it in the air. We know I lost to Scott. Good job, Scott. Your 105-point change. Won it. Not to talk smack. You are in first place now. So.
I lost to Scott when he scored like 115 or 120 or something. So, I mean, I
lost to Scott twice this year. So, anyways.
See, I can not beat anyone except for good teams, apparently. I mean, I beat Baba, and no offense, Baba, but you're kind of sliding. But I swept Billy, and that makes me feel good.
That's pretty good. Yeah. It's really good, actually.
It's like warm Cinnabons.
The way it stands now, if the playoffs were to start today, I would get to play Scott again, and trust me, man, I'm bringing the house.
And you're gonna leave him on your bench.
Maybe I needed some injuries. I heard Amon-Ra's questionable too.
Yeah,
anyways,
hoping.
So
I mean, I don't wish injury around folks, but I do wish for them not to play against me in fantasy.
No, they will. It's just a lot of Lions sat on Mondays, non-practice, fake practice, estimated, whatever.
I mean, they're playing on Thursday, so
yeah, and 12:30. So yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Sorry we didn't get to offer that so far.
And for those who don't do it, happy Indigenous Peoples Day, and
or for those
happy Thursday
who just want a little something different. How about a day off? Enjoy it,
right?
And eat, because that's what everyone else is doing. I mean,
except for the people who are working. Sorry.
Oh yeah, if you're working, then eat.
But also, congratulations on having a job, because I can't say the same.
Make that money. I'm sure it's double pay.
That's why you find me here on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at around 9 to 11 a.m. doing a podcast.
All right, we'll run quick through it. Lions Den, I played Billy and I lost by less than a point. So thanks, Billy.
By less than a point.
Less than a point. We both had 117. It's half PPR.
Do you guys have defensive players?
Yeah. It's
so
IDP.
There might be a stat adjustment. That comes on Wednesday.
It could come up till Thursday, but yeah. I mean, I had a Monday night defensive player, and he put up 7 and needed like 7.6. So
didn't he get posterized by Lamar in the game?
He did.
So wouldn't that have if that tackle was made before the end zone, wouldn't that have given you the win?
I would have won because, most likely. But I had Roquan Smith, who was eventually posted as out, so I had to make a last-second pickup, and I got this guy, Henley. He's pretty good, but anyways, let's not talk about that. It's behind us. Good job, Billy.
Billy might want to talk about that.
Billy doesn't want to hear about my fantasy team in other leagues, so we're gonna.
But
move
I think
forward.
he might want to hear about him beating you.
Well,
and your fantasy team.
maybe we'll revisit that in Parallel Universe. But I think we spilled the beans.
We don't have a ton of time today anyway, so let's keep it moving.
And then I played my lovely wife Julia in the family league, and let's just say she had Saquon Barkley and AJ Brown. And a lot of other guys that killed it. Oh,
so she beat you like she beat that guy that bit me a few years ago.
Yes. Oh, wow. Strangulation.
Yes.
She beat me by 60. She beat that guy by 160.
Yeah.
So, we're stuck at 20. So good job for good luck to Billy, Scott, and Marv, who are still in the 537 bet.
Only 2 weeks left.
Yeah. So,
if Marv gets first place, wins it all, and gets your $5 or $10, I'm gonna be pissed.
Marv slid to second place.
I know, but there's still a chance.
That's what happens when you lose to Sean.
Well, Sean had the best week of his year, so keeping things alive.
All right, guys, let's move forward and talk a little bit about playoffs.
This is the prediction.
That's not the right load. Just in case you forgot, this is the Put It in the Air
Here
podcast.
We are, 14 weeks in, and we're finally getting to know how this works.
I really should number these sound bits. But
I guess this is episode 13, week 12, huh?
Yeah. 14 is next week. We need to be perfect. All right. So the one question this week, it has to do with Put It in the Air. We're going to talk about the playoff scenario. Who's in, who's out, and who's fighting for the last spots. So
I'll talk about. I was going to say I'll talk about the people that are out because
that's fine.
I'm one of them.
Well, you're not. There's actually, to be honest with you,
I'm out right now.
Yeah, but there's. Matter of fact,
no, I think
nobody's out.
I think that technically, I haven't done all the math. I haven't gone back and looked to see who won what games and whatnot. But purely based off of record, everyone's still alive. We have 2 games left, And Captain Cannabis and the Auto Draftees are tied at 3-9. Punks and Drublick and great. We're both tied at 4-8. And the last two teams in are G-Men's Crusaders and East Coast Virus at 5-7. So if the Auto Draftees and Captain Cannabis win out, they'll be at 5 wins. If G-Men's and East Coast Virus lose out, they'll be at 5 wins.
Interesting.
So there's still a chance, technically, not paying attention to tiebreakers. For Great and myself, we need to win out. And I'm playing you this week. So if I beat you this week, even if Colin wins, there might be a chance that I jump ahead of him into the playoffs. If Colin
a chance.
I don't know tiebreakers.
But you lost to Colin and I beat him. I do know that.
Right.
That's a big piece
right.
of the puzzle.
And I lost to you early in the season, and so I would have to beat you this time around. But so if Colin and I both win and you and Baba both lose, then there's a chance that Colin and I both go into the playoffs and both of you hop out. So it's really coming down to the wire. It should be pretty exciting these last 2 weeks.
I'm just gonna beat you, so we don't have to worry about that, and then you could fight for the last spot. I
think that it would be nicer, considering I open my home to you every week, for you to just drop everyone on your team and give me the win.
That is a nice thing. I think probably benching the whole team would be a better idea, but I'm gonna need.
I don't think you can.
I'm gonna need Subway fare for 3 months.
I'm not
selling. I'm not selling.
I might be willing to do that. Actually, how about you just like drop maybe Amon Ra, since I'm third in waivers, and there's a good chance I'll be able to pick him up. So drop like Amon Ra, maybe Brian Thomas, and I don't know. I'll pick a third player, and then I'll be guaranteed to pick up one of them.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm gonna think about that. All right, not doing it.
You're a jerk.
Yeah. Well, this jerk wants to tell you about a couple teams who actually are in it. Obviously, Scott and Marv being 10-2 have been in it for a little bit. They've got clinched a playoff spot. Now this week, Longfellow and Salute Your Shorts, Steal Your Face Mask with Billy, and Aggie's team, I Fucks Your Mom, have clinched a playoff spot, which is kind of upsetting because Aggie was really on a free fall and really needed a win this week. He got it. Jay got a huge win this week, putting him in a position of, controlling his own destiny. And then Babalu and I will also need to control our own destiny by winning out.
Yeah, Jay could definitely drop out of the playoffs depending on if he wins the next 2 weeks and what happens with Colin and me.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We'll have to...
I've got to give kudos to Marvellis. He is the only one in the league at 1,700 points scored. That's almost 100 points more than the second place team, which is the Milfuckers, with 1610. Second place as far as points scored.
I see. Okay.
And then Colin at 9th place has the... Oh, sorry. I totally messed that up. Scott, who's in first place in our league, has the 3rd most points scored, because Colin, who's in 9th place in our league, has the 2nd most points scored. Only 35 points behind our top scoring team, Catches Fate. So Colin has scored 1,671 points.
And he also has the 2nd most points scored again, so that's why you find him in the hole.
That is why you find him in the hole.
So
I want to give myself kudos for still having scored more than the 8th place team, the 7th place team, the 6th place team, the 5th place team. No, not anymore. I'm 8. I'm 7 points behind him.
Your kudos trickled off.
So close.
All right, well, let's move along, and we'll have a different story for you next week. Next segment, which would be, Dude, what happened?
Pun down.
The Steelers at the Browns. In the first Blizzard game of the year,
Russell Wilson plays like he's been there before, putting up 21 of 28 passing for 270 yards and 1 touchdown with no picks and 1 fumble, as his running game forgets that they're supposed to be the driving force in driving snow, as Najee puts up a measly 41 yards on 16 carries, and Jaylen Warren once again shows he's the better back by running for 45 yards on 11 carries and 1 touchdown. And George Pickens continues to make fans wonder if drafting sociopaths at wide receiver is just a Pittsburgh norm. Meanwhile, Jabu gets to play in his first snow game of his life, and it shows through his 76 passer rating, but channeling his best John Elway as he helicopters into the end zone. He and Nick Chubb's 59 yards and 2 touchdowns on 20 carries is enough to take down their NFC North compatriots.
The squall made each half look like they were played in different hemispheres as Jameis and the Browns deflate the chance of Russell and Justin sharing a win as the Browns proved to be the more winter-ready team. Cleveland 24, Pittsburgh 19.
The Chiefs at the Panthers. Finally, Patrick Mahomes is back to normal as he throws for 27 of 37, 269 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But of course he did it. Since they were playing against one of the worst teams in the league. But what no one expected was that it would take his best game of the year and a huge showing by Noah Gray. Yeah, I've never heard of him either. To barely sneak by a 3-win team. Meanwhile, Bryce Young and the Panthers keep plodding away to the tune of 4 field goals and 2 touchdowns, but fall just short as the Chiefs rely on a last-second field goal by their rookie kicker.
Kansas City almost lost its second bye week, leading us all to believe that they just played down to their opponent. Kansas City 30. What? Carolina 27.
The Buccaneers at the Giants. The last blowout in a 1 o'clock game saw Baker with a very questionable Italian guy celebration on a 10-yard touchdown run, as the Bucs scored all 4 touchdowns on runs from Bake and their 3 RBs on a day that saw rookie Bucky Irving take the lead in the RB room. Meanwhile, the Giants players aren't happy that their starting quarterback was released in a show that they're tanking for the rest of the season to hopefully upgrade their QB room through the draft next year.
Tommy DeVito looked more like Tommy Pickles as the Little Giants' worst weekly, and Baker Mayfield is lucky that he didn't dislocate his elbows trying to impersonate his Italian opponent as Tampa cleans up 30-7.
The Cowboys at the Commanders. Cooper Rush's Cowboys team was supposed to be left for dead on the side of the road, especially against a Commanders team that a month ago many were predicting would win the Super Bowl. But Coop said poo-poo to that, as he threw for 117 passer rating with no interceptions by hyper-focusing on superstar CeeDee Lamb, who had 10 receptions on 12 targets, and Rico Dowdle put up a respectable day with 86 yards on 19 carries. Meanwhile, Jaden Daniels continues to struggle passing the ball as he throws for 25 of 38 for 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, including a completion on a defensive breakdown with 12 seconds left for 86 yards and a touchdown to Scary Terry McLaurin, which was ruined by a missed extra point by Austin Siebert, as the football gods, or magnets in the ball, weren't about to let the comeback happen.
In a circus of an ending, somehow the Cowboys win a game. 2 kick returns for touchdowns certainly helped them get there, but ultimately a missed extra point from Washington proved to be the difference. Dallas 34, Washington 26.
The Patriots at the Dolphins. In a game that was over at the half, Gerard Mayo's Patriots looked like they might put up a fight after the first quarter, then gave up 24 unanswered in the second quarter as untimely penalties on the offensive line stopped any momentum. Rookie Drake May and running back Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson were able to muster up. Meanwhile, the Dolphins are rounding back into form as Tua seemed flawless, throwing for 29 of 40 for 317 yards and 4 touchdowns, as Jalen Waddle led the way for the first time this year with 8 receptions for 144 yards and a touchdown. Jonnu Smith was unstoppable with 9 receptions for 87 yards and a tutty, and Devon Achane had 3 catches for 2 touchdowns.
Jalen Waddle is back from vacation. Let's just hope this is a blip on the radar for East Coast virus sake this week as Tua, Achane, and the other swimmers embarrass New England, who look like, let's beat this joke to death, Keyshawn Booty. Miami 35, Keyshawn Booty.
Thank you.
Miami 35, New England 15.
The Titans at the Texans. Will Levis decided Sunday would be the perfect time for him to have the best game of his career, as he doesn't throw his first incompletion until the end of the second quarter, after he hit 11 in a row and ended up hitting for 18 of 24 for 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 1 fumble, along with huge throws to Calvin Ridley, Chig Okonkwo, and Nate Westbrook-Akine, to go along with a big game from Tony Pollard, who put up 119 yards and 1 touchdown on 24 carries. Meanwhile, C.J. Stroud continues to make fans wonder if last year was a fluke or if he should stop doing so many podcasts in the offseason, as he tosses up 2 interceptions to go along with his 2 touchdowns and 247 yards, while Joe Mixon's 22 yards on 14 carries makes fantasy owners and fans alike say, great.
Great! Will Levis and Nick Folk help compete against a stingy defense in Houston as C.J. Stroud and Kaimi Fairbairn fall short against a stingy Tennessee defense. In the end, Houston misses a 28-yard field goal only to be given one more chance and lose to a game-clinching safety in this thriller. Tennessee 32, Houston 27.
The Lions at the Colts. This Lions team is a wagon, which is something I've never been able to say in my lifetime, despite them having guys like Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, and Matt Stafford on their teams. And they keep showing up against undermanned teams, and this week it was a well-rounded effort, with their star running backs both averaging over 4.3 yards per carry, and 5 receivers averaging over 10 yards per reception, and 4 of them over 12 yards per reception. Meanwhile, the Colts were once again held back by their lackluster QB, who completed less than 40% of his passes, leaning on Brendan's favorite receiver, Michael Pittman, but got no help from his superstar running back, Jonathan Taylor, who got 35 yards on a questionable 11 carries and was outrushed by his QB, who had 10 carries of his own for 61 yards.
The Lions' run game carved up the Colts as they took it easy on an Indy team that couldn't get anything going, probably because of their cool black and blue outfits. Detroit 24, Indy 6.
The Vikings at the Bears. Sam Darnold, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, and Aaron Jones steal the show for the Vikings, as Justin Jefferson puts up a putrid 2 catches for 27 yards, as this marks 3 games in a row where he fails to reach 100 receiving yards. But his aforementioned teammates all notched over the century mark to make up for their defense almost giving the game away, through 17 fourth-quarter points, 10 of them in the last 22 seconds. Meanwhile, Caleb Williams almost has his first big-time comeback of his career, but by being the driving force behind the fourth-quarter onslaught, but unfortunately for him, doing little to help his team in quarters 1, 2, 3, and OT just won't cut it, especially when his 33 rushing yards led his team.
Caleb and his 3 receivers stage an incredible comeback and put up 17 in the last 5 minutes of the game to send this one to overtime, where Minnesota flexes their record and kicks the Bears when they're down. Minnesota 30, Chicago 27.
The Broncos at the Raiders. Bo Nix doesn't play great, but he plays better than any of the other rookie QBs and well enough against a reeling Raiders team as he puts up 273 yards and 2 touchdowns on just under 60% completion rate as he's the whole offense, with the team putting up a measly 63 yards on 22 carries. Meanwhile, the Raiders have 3 different guys throw passes, none of whom will be the starting QB for the next game, as some guy named Sincere McCormick averages 6.6 yards per carry on only 5 carries to lead the team to a predictable loss.
I didn't know any of that. That's awesome. Vegas stays alive throughout the first half, but Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton pick up the pace in the second half, and Vegas can't keep up as Will Lutz goes 5 for 5, and Denver wins 29-19.
The 49ers at the Packers. Backup Niners QB Brandon Allen proves that not just anyone can be successful throwing in Kyle Shanahan's system. As George Kittle shows, he can be productive no matter who's throwing him the ball. However, the rest of the team doesn't prove up to the challenge, as no one else puts up more than 40 yards running or receiving, though CMC is able to put up 30-something of each. Meanwhile, the Packers run up the score by running all over their undermanned opponents, as none of their pass catchers hit for over 55 receiving yards, but Josh Jacobs puts up 106 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns.
CMC is fully back and goes for under 3 yards per carry. Meanwhile, it's Josh Jacobs who collects multiple touchdowns with 3, and the Packers crush a Brockless 49ers team 38-10. Who'da thunk it?
The Cardinals at the Seahawks. 11 carries for the Cardinals running backs in a game where Kyler throws for a 77 passer rating is probably why the Cards are sitting around 500. But a 1.1 yard per carry for starter James Conner probably didn't help decision makers, even if it was on a measly 7 carries. Meanwhile, the Seahawks didn't have to do much to overcome such a crappy opponent, so they didn't, in what was easily the worst match of the weekend.
In a game that left much to be desired, each team's defense showed up as the Seahawks pick off Kyler and take it to the house, as this one never really got going for either offense. Seattle 16, Arizona 6.
The Eagles at the Rams. Jalen Hurts played well, but who cares when your running back rushes for 255 yards and 2 touchdowns while putting up over 300 yards combined rushing and receiving. As Giants fans everywhere are punching air, and A.J. Brown caught 6 for 109 and a touchdown, as Titan fans everywhere are also shadowboxing. Meanwhile, the Rams played well, but 4 fumbles is bad even if you only lost one of them. But Stafford keeps on rolling with 24 of 36 for 243 yards and 2 touchdowns, by relying on Puka, who caught 9 for 117, and Cooper, who caught 8 for 60 and a touchdown.
The Giants didn't think their week could get any worse after their quarterback debacle and getting crushed earlier in the day. But no. Saquon Barkley made sure to put the icing on it, wrap it up, and sell it in bulk. Oh, the Rams were also there and did all right, but lost it 37-20 to the Eagles.
The Ravens at their Chargers. Lamar is easily the best QB in the league, at least in the regular season. as he throws all over the field and runs for a touchdown that resembles his viral high school self. But Derrick Henry isn't one to be upstaged as he rushes for 140 on 24 carries. Meanwhile, Justin Herbert is as good as any QB in the league as he got his team out to a quick 10-point lead. But when he's throwing to guys who catch like their arms stop at their wrists, it's tough to compete with the best team in the AFC.
Baltimore decided to go for it on 4th down like it was a pickup game of Madden. It was a competitive matchup for both teams, but Baltimore's gambles paid off as they sealed the deal with 2 TDs in the 4th quarter. Baltimore 30, Chargers 23.
Injury list.
All right, so let's go through this real quick. We got Brock Purdy, didn't play this week, AC joint.
Fatality. I'm just kidding.
Like,
for his team.
Likely back. Maybe this week, maybe next week. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. He's going to have some loss of velocity, some loss of arm power, but should be able to play through it. They're in last place, so I don't know. Maybe they sit him for the rest of the year, but probably not. They're probably trying to get into the playoff
They have
race.
too much power.
So then we've got Jatavian Sanders with a scary injury. But it looks like it was just a cervical spine compression.
Oh, just a cervical issue? That's fine.
But
I mean, geez.
nothing. It looks like nothing broken.
It was a neck issue, like
yeah.
on the initial
Well, cervical spine.
So no,
Yeah.
I know. I wasn't thinking of the cervix. I know Jatavian
really?
Sanders is cervixless,
Oh,
right?
wow! Look
right?
at you.
Unless
Biology.
guys have a secret cervix,
Well, depends on what guys you're talking about.
and depends on what.
Anyway, from what I saw, it's likely that he'll be back this season, which is great because that could have been career-ending. It could have been really
Yeah.
scary.
And he's a rookie. He's an up-and-coming rookie. People keep picking him up and dropping him, but picking him up. I'm like, what? Where's the story that I'm missing?
Yeah,
like
no.
here?
I mean, you just have to pay attention before the season
Oh
starts.
yeah.
And then we've got Devontae Smith. He re-aggravated his hamstring injury, likely out 2 to 4 weeks. Yay! Can't use him until the playoffs if I make it.
You could always use him in the losers bracket playoff championship.
Well, we would have to vote on that for it to matter. And
It's gonna matter.
So he'll probably, I probably won't be able to use him probably for the rest of the year.
You should play him this week.
Oh, yay, maybe. Then we've got Josh Downs. Another
Josh
guy
Downs
that
went down. I saw
another
that.
guy that would have been very helpful to someone who's not in the playoffs right
This is
now.
going to be like a pretty considerable injury.
No, it's not bad. It's an ACSC sprain
But
that's
it's
like in the clavicle area. It's not broken.
week to
so-
week though, right? He's
Yeah.
projected to miss a couple weeks.
Average 1 to 2 weeks. They have a bye in week 14, so he probably won't be back till week 15. Then we've got David Montgomery. He's got a mild AC sprain. So normally that would be maybe like a week. They're playing on Thursday Night Football, so he might sit.
No, Thursday at 12:30.
Well, sorry, Thursday football.
But it's just
Right, Thursday early football,
Early
which is
time.
even less time to
Yeah.
to come back. And I think we all know that things hurt way more in the morning than they do in the evening.
Yeah. And
So-
we also know that Jahmyr Gibbs could handle the load and maybe get some help. But
Wow.
but the Lions don't, they don't need to rush.
But
Montgomery back.
but the comments are suggesting that he's going to play with a decreased workload, so you're going to have to wake up early and find out what's going on.
So he's literally going to be a quarter back, where he gets a quarter of the work as a running back. I was hoping for the drum set.
So then we've got
Who we
Gardner Minshew broke his collarbone,
Done.
out for the season.
Sorry, Gardner.
That is probably his career in Las Vegas.
Okay,
Right.
he can go.
He's
to
a
where-
good player, good enough at least. There's probably going to be another team that wants to pick him up, but
He can start his
season's
off season
done.
early in his cut-off jean shorts, so it's all
Ooh,
good.
I like that.
He likes that.
Yeah. You like that?
Wrestle some gators.
Then we've got Cedric Tillman, who got a concussion on Thursday night, but their next game is on Monday night, so there's
He
a
got
good
a lot
chance
of time.
that he's
11 days.
Yeah, 11 days. There's
No.
a good chance that he's able to play. As long as it's a 1 week concussion thing, not a 2 week.
Okay.
Then we've got Austin Eckler, who
Ooh.
also got a concussion. and this is his second of the year.
Ooh.
He's probably out this week, but they have a bye week 14, so he should be back for the first week of the playoffs.
Who's next on the list?
Brian Robinson.
Ooh, the other running back.
Other running back
So
from the Commanders.
who's left?
I don't know.
Jeremy McNichols?
Oh,
The
I
guy
guess
who
so.
went in waivers to the East Coast Virus this morning? Who's going to put up 3 fantasy points and get started against you?
Heard you.
Be the reason I lost?
Heard you.
I'm seeing the future, guys.
Yay.
Gonna leave him on my bench.
Yeah, so Austin Eckler, he's probably out till week 15. Brian Robinson, he's probably out till week 15.
Ooh.
And then we've got Samuel Donald
Ooh, yeah.
with a mild high ankle sprain. He's a quarterback, so they'll probably tape that thing up and put him back out there this week.
I'm waiting on the update where Daniel Jones goes to Minnesota to fill in,
Yep, that
Is
would
gonna
be a
happen.
smart move.
but just for 1 year, half
Yeah.
a year,
Well, for like 5 games.
couple games,
Yeah.
playoffs.
So then we have J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, that's the most frustrating, at least to
for you.
the Chargers.
The rest of us feel okay with it. Oh, whoa. How about that for breaking
Timing?
news and timing, my friend? The Vikings to sign Daniel Jones.
Baby, I feel
Like,
it's raining money
Within
on me. I wish I
seconds.
gambled on that second
Within
ago.
seconds.
I kinda-
well done.
I kinda
Well
saw
done.
that
You know
coming.
what?
Yo,
My
that's
friend,
pretty. That's
well
pretty
done.
good.
Like,
you should slide me into Sly as a Fox later on. And
Well, I mean,
and
if you had
the
picked him up,
doghouse
if you had picked him up, maybe I would have thought
and the
about that.
doghouse though.
Yeah, probably.
Picked him up.
Do you have him? Oh shit! He picked him up, Brendan. He picked him up right now. Oh my god!
No, I have Kyler Murray. You know he you never know when he does good or
He's
bad.
a bum. All right, so yeah, we were talking about J.K. Dobbins, who you lost. Are you really trying to pick up Daniel Jones right now?
I'm just looking. I'm just taking a gander.
So we got an update like 30 minutes before we started the pod that he will be likely out for a few weeks. So you probably won't have him back until the playoffs, which I'm okay with because I play you this week. And so I don't want to go up against J.K. Dobbins. Is there anyone I missed?
I'm gonna pick up Daniel Jones.
Okay. Go for it, buddy.
I just don't know who to drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll pick up Daniel Jones before you can get to it.
I think you probably will because you have guys you could drop.
I do. Although I also can't find him on the list because maybe someone else picked him up. But also, like, it's not like he's gonna start this week. Sam Darnold is only out for a short amount of time.
You picked him up, didn't you?
You
did.
just did.
Yeah.
Unless someone else got there first. Yeah, I picked him up.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing you, and I knew you
Who'd
wanted
you
to pick
drop?
him up. Kendrick Bourne.
I was hoping that
Now,
I accidentally
I did-
dropped somebody a little
I
bit
did
more.
make what I think.
I was about to drop Dalton Schultz, but I might need him because Kincaid's
Right,
in
yeah.
it. So
I
I might need his 5 points.
I did pick up someone that I think was a pretty sly pickup on Sunday, or was it yesterday? I forget.
I'm trying to
but,
think of who this is. Let me look it up.
Yeah.
Oh, Tyler Bass. Yeah, it was slick.
Tyler
it was
Bass.
prior to the Monday night game, so you were able to pick up a player on bye who is still a free agent. One of the only ones.
Exactly.
It's one of the clever moves that
And why is it a clever move?
because in week 14 your kicker's on bye, Kaimi Fairbairn.
Right.
I already looked this up and I was
So,
like, kudos.
yeah.
You didn't get my Sly as a Fox pick just because there
No,
was
it's
something that was a
understandable.
little bit more impressive, even though it didn't really work out. We'll get there.
Yeah. But I felt really good with that pickup. Like, I was going through my list and I'm like, damn, like,
Yeah.
if I want to make the playoffs, I can't not have a
It's great
kicker.
to have a good kicker on a good team.
He's the 5th best kicker in the league.
Yeah.
And-
I actually drafted him in another league this year. I've like been trying to drop him, but the Bills are starting to pick it up.
Oh,
so
look
it's
at that.
starting to put up
Kaimi's
points.
up to number 1 kicker again. See?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Chris Boswell must have kicked in the snow or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So speaking of kicking in the snow, you want to get into the PETA rundown?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's be quick about it because
All right.
really don't want to relive this week.
All right, as slowly as I can.
Oh, great.
East Coast virus. The Milfuckers. This week's closest matchup was supposed to be a beatdown coming into the week, but despite using Tommy DeVito's 11 points over Tua's 29 points, the Milfuckers was saved by an injury to J.K. Dobbins early in the game Monday night as he takes down East Coast Virus 106.36 to 105.
Point nothing.
Fuckers was led by a big game from Trey McBride, who put up 25 points, and 14 plus from Devon Vele, Zach Ertz, and David Montgomery, which made up for goose eggs from Darius Slayton and the Chargers defense. Meanwhile, East Coast Virus somehow lost without any zeros on the board and double digits from 6 of his starters. But his top scorer only put up 19.7, and Dalton Schultz and Ramondre Stevenson combined for only 7 points. Scott was able to regain first place with his win, as Brendan now occupies the last playoff spot and is only 1 game ahead of 9th and 10th places, with 2 games left before the playoffs start, one of them against the 10th place team.
Thanks for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Oh, great. Punks in Drublic versus Steal Your Face Mask.
Okay, I like that.
Nice, right? Nice little touch.
Yeah, but turn it off, though.
I did, but it didn't turn off. Oh, there it goes. All right. This one looked to be a close one prior to Sunday's first kickoff. That was weird. Punks and Drublic had
I promise we can read, folks. I promise.
Punks and Drublic had a slight advantage as Steal Your Face Mask had 2 of his better wideouts on bye in Garrett Wilson and Amari Cooper. Come Sunday kickoff, Punks took an early lead fueled by the Tampa Bay running back duo. They do it again, putting up over 38 combined points.
They duo it again?
They duo it again. Devon Achane was another bright spot for Punks, accompanied by his defense and kicker, putting up 21. In fact, Punks and Drublic only had 2 players score under 10 fantasy points, with Hunt Hen finishing with a respectable 9.6, and Christian Watson did his best third-string running back impersonation as he, a wide receiver, carried the ball once for 4 yards. It was fine to have such a dud on the roster, not to mention a 28.4 by Jalen Waddle on the bench, as Punk's opponent Steal Your Face Mask had an adverse outcome, as he only had 3 players score over 10 fantasy points. His week was highlighted by Lamar Jackson's 22.5 and Jonnu Smith's impressive 23.7. That's where the fun ended for Billy, however, as Jonathan Taylor has another poor performance.
Who?
Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor has another poor performance with a measly 3.5. Javonte Williams carries for negative yards and finishes with 2.4, and the Kansas City defense gets 2 against Carolina. How does that happen? In the end, Pascal gets a much-needed win as he looks towards his potential pathways to the playoffs as he takes care of Billy handedly, 133.36 to 94.68.
I'll take the sweep, folks. And I said I promise we can read, but I might have been wrong.
I definitely took too big of a sip of my energy drink. Getting ahead of ourselves.
And back on track. The Auto Draftees versus I Fucks Your Mom. The Auto Draftees continues his death spiral to be tied for last place as he faced the league's second highest scorer in I Fucks Your Mom and loses 126.62 to 163. TAD got superstar showings from Josh Jacobs, who put up 29, and DJ Moore with 27, and strong days from Justin Herbert with 18 and Aaron Jones with 20. Unfortunately for him, no one else put up more than 10.5. As I Fucks Your Mom got superhuman showings from Saquon with 46 and Jaden Daniels with 30.
How did that happen?
While he got solid games from Nick Chubb with 19,
Welcome.
Cameron the Dicker Kicker with 15, DeAndre Hopkins with 14.5, Travis Kelce with 12, and Zay Flowers with 11. Frank is still a half game out of the toilet bowl and might be able to make the playoffs in a perfect scenario, but he'll have to reverse his 8-game slide starting next week and hope for a ton of help and some lucky matchup math, while Aggie solidified his playoff standing and is now a lock for the postseason.
Boston Bulldogs versus great.
Why don't I get the echo when I say the
I
names?
forgot it. It's so new. You should give me a heads up.
I forgot too.
What turned out to be a heavyweight matchup all started Thursday night, where great started 3 players, somehow getting 7 points from his kicker in a blizzard, and a late Jalen Warren TD helped savage the evening as great.
Savage or salvage?
Did I say savage?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm really off.
Yeah.
Helped salvage I even wrote salvage. Helped salvage the evening as great. Ended up posting a total of 27.5 Thursday night. Come Sunday, both teams would put up great performances with both Patrick Mahomes and Tua Tagovailoa both posting above 28 fantasy points. I know it's Tungala-Ivoa. I don't know. Fucking whatever. Colin enjoyed incredible performances by Jordan Addison at 30.2 and the Houston defense, who put up 18. He also hit on a touchdown with newly acquired Nick Westbrook-Akina. You called him Nate earlier and I didn't call you out.
Oops.
Now I did. Who he added Sunday morning. To Colin's disappointment, however, typical fantasy studs Joe Mixon and rookie phenom Brock Bowers both crash-landed after insane weeks with under 10 points each. He also took a big hit as Josh Downs went down and was forced out of the game after putting up just 5.7. The injury bug didn't leave the Bulldogs alone either, as Austin Eckler was also forced out after putting up only 4.4. Besides that, the Boston Bulldogs only had 2 other players score under 10 points, Swift with 9.5 and Tracy with 9. Tony Pollard's 21.9 and the Green Bay defense put up 12, helping him get right back into the game, and a surprise dominant performance from old man Keenan Allen with 23.6 put him in a great position to complete the takeover Sunday and or Monday night. Colin held tight onto a 21-point lead going into Sunday Night Football, where he hoped A.J. Brown would go easy on him. Well, by the end of the Eagles' dominant performance, it was settled as Brown posted a 22.9. All that was left to hope for was Mark Andrews putting up just a fumble on the stat sheet on Monday Night Football. Well, he had his own dominant night with a touchdown, finishing with 15.6. McCree loses an opportunity to gain ground as he continues to make a playoff push, as Jay controls his destiny as he looks to have the playoffs in a much clearer sight, as Boston Bulldogs win 157.66 to Greats 140.98.
Captain Cannabis versus Catch This Fade.
I hate it.
I went the wrong way.
I was going to turn it on for you, and you were like,
No, you were going to do the reverb. I didn't want that one. I wanted the other one.
Oh, you were going to turn the...
I was going to go...
like this?
Captain Cannabis versus Catch This Fade.
That's a bit much.
It sounds better, though, doesn't it?
Let's read it like this.
Like this? All right. This week's top scorer. No,
This week's top scorer, Captain Cannabis, achieves it. No, I don't like that.
It's
Stop
regular.
it. Okay.
Now it's regular. That's just your voice.
All right. This week's top scorer, Captain Cannabis, achieves this feat by knocking our number 1 team, Catch This Fade, off his perch.
Whoa.
164.52 to 143.82. The captain was propelled by 30 points from Cortland Sutton, 22 from Jacoby Myers, 20 each from Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, 17 from Amir Abdullah, 12 from Kareem Hunt, and 11 from Tucker Kraft. Meanwhile, Catch This Fade put up the 4th highest score of the week by starting Jahmyr Gibbs with 25, Nico Collins with 20, Bo Nix with 19, T.J. Hawkinson with 18, Chuba Hubbard with 15, and Malik Neighbors and the Dolphins D with 12 each. While Sean might be mathematically alive, he'd need the perfect tiebreaker scenario to make the playoffs, along with winning out the rest of his games. But he has put himself in a position to potentially avoid the toilet bowl, whereas Marvelous has been a lock for the playoffs for weeks, but loses his number 1 ranking with his loss.
Damn. Next and last we have Salute Your Short Fellows versus G-Men's Crusaders. Talk about not being able to put your vehicle into drive. The reverb's still on. There it goes. Talk about not being able to get your vehicle into drive. G-Men's Crusaders gifts Salute Your Short Fellows a playoff spot with what some may have considered a bye week, as the Crusaders only have 3 players that eclipse 10 points, including Jared Goff with 10.76, Jake Elliott with 13, and King Henry with just 14. His flex of Jerome Ford and Sam Laporta coming in for just 8.7, and Brian Robinson's injury after he exits the game after just putting up 3.4. Mike wasn't much better in the flex as he combines for just 8.4 from Jaden Reed and Cedric Tillman, who also left early with injury. That, along with a few missed extra points from Austin Seibert and a combined score of 17.7 from his 2 stud running backs, CMC and James Conner, it seemed as if Shortfellow had let the Crusaders back into the game. He sealed the deal, however, with comeback Kittle, who puts up 20.2 and 21.2 from Terry McLaurin, fueled by a last-minute 86-yard TD. Shortfellows claims victory 112.98 to 84.36 from the G-Men's Crusaders.
See, that 14 from Derrick Henry is exactly why I feel like a lot of leagues are going to half PPC, point per carry. So you get a half point for each carry.
Oh, man.
Because it's like, rushing for 140 is a huge game for a running back, and only getting 14 points from that, but getting 14 points from one
receiver who gets 30 yards, 9 catches.
Or like an 86-yard touchdown in garbage time.
Yeah.
Like,
but points per carry, it would have to be like quarter point per carry, because some running backs just get way too many carries.
That's fine.
It
but
would inflate the numbers way too much.
I know, like Najee Harris would get way too many points when he sucks.
Maybe like 0.1 per carry? That would be
maybe that's what it is, 0.1 per carry.
That would be a smart way to do it.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
And then like
it should be like 0.1. I think you're right. 0.1 per carry and then half point PPR. That's like how it really should be in my mind.
I like full point PPR. It really balloons up those target hogs. You know, it's nice. All right, guys, let's move on to... All right. The Superlative Rundown. Welcome in to the top performing players of the week in the Superlative Rundown.
Oh, yeah.
So this week's quarterback of the week was Jaden Daniels with 30.4. He started off horribly, too. He really put it together towards the end of the game.
Yeah, one big play.
Julia had him against me.
And his running backs went down. He was the only one. I think he ran for like 70 yards or something.
Yeah, he crushed it. Running back of the week, Saquon Barkley with 46.2.
Well deserved.
Whoa.
Well deserved. That man went crazy.
Yeah, really.
And now he's on track to break the single season rushing record. It'll be tough going into the winter, but it's doable.
There's talk about MVP status possibly.
I mean, I don't know if anyone else deserves it over him at this point.
It's so true. Oh, Julia started him as well.
Smart woman.
Yeah. Wide receiver of the week. Welcome to the list, Jordan Addison.
Bravo.
He's been playing much better of late. 30.2 fantasy points. I mean, this guy was a drop candidate 3 weeks ago, which is crazy. He was.
Technically, but you don't drop Jordan Addison.
I mean, I actually did in the family league.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh, man.
I'm not upset because I have just too much power in the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
So he was just too
no, I hear you.
Touch and go. Colin, good job maintaining him and playing him.
Yeah, I think our league is a little different than your family league where you can't drop.
I wouldn't drop him in our league.
You just can't do it. It's almost like trading David Andrews halfway through the year. You know what
Mark
I mean?
Andrews?
Like, Jesus, I don't know these guys for shit. Like, I don't know anyone's name.
Is that
What's
like
my name?
If David
What's my
Montgomery
name?
and Mark
What's my
Andrews?
name? Uma. All right, sorry. We're all too old for that. Never mind.
Oh, I thought you were singing Destiny's Child.
No, that's Disney movies. Thank you, Kaizen, for
great.
putting me on to some good Disney songs. Yeah.
Tight end of the week turned out to be my downfall. Trey McBride with 25.3. The guy killed it.
Don't
he had
blame it on
15
him.
targets.
You left 15 points on your bench.
No, he killed it. I mean, he killed it. I have him in another league too, so it's kind of difficult when you're like playing against somebody that you have. You're just like, you know what? I've learned just to let them dominate because then everyone else has to say.
Let them as if you have a say.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
you know, if you watch the game, they do better for you.
I heard you.
Kicker of the week, Will Lutz. Will with one L. Will he ever add another L?
Well, it's just added on to his last name. It's
Oh,
actually
yeah,
Will
that's-
Utz,
Yeah, because
but they split up the L's because they wanted them to have their own lives.
maybe they would they were afraid people would read it as like a Y, like in the double L in Spanish, like
Right.
we Lutz.
But also, they're the ship company family, and they don't want anyone to know. So,
Oh,
you know.
so he's like hiding it with the second L in the last name instead of being called Lutz.
Exactly,
Okay, well, he
yeah.
put up 21 points, which is pretty solid.
Not
5 for
bad,
5.
not bad.
That'll do it. And then the Dallas Cowboys defense, welcome back to the fold. I hate to say that. You're not very welcome, but they put up 22 fantasy points.
I guess 2 return touchdowns.
That's
will do
really
that.
what did it. Yeah. They really should have lost. Anyways, so that's the
That's that.
superlative
All
rundown.
right. So, well, not quite, because we have the second part, which is my
Oh,
part.
your
You're not the
yeah.
only one on this
Well,
podcast,
I'm
buddy.
done then.
All right. Well, shut the hell up.
All right. I'll shut up.
So, our largest margin of victory goes to yours truly,
Hey, all right.
Punks and Drublick, over Steal Your Face Mask as I sweep him on the year.
Yeah, Bill.
Yeah. So I won 133.36 to 94.68 for yet another sub 100 showing for our good buddy and wonderful, wonderful commissioner for a win of 38.68 points.
At least he scored about 10 more than he did last week.
True. I want to give an honorable mention
you love
to
giving honorable mentions.
I fucks your mom over the auto draftees by 36.38. Almost the top deficit.
And almost the top scorer, too.
Almost by 1.5. Next, we have the closest matchup.
I wonder who that was.
The Milfuckers over our wonderful host, East Coast Virus.
Wasn't even close.
10
No chance.
106.36 to 105 for a win by a measly 1.36 points.
I'm tight.
Give them their flowers, and $25 goes to Captain Cannabis. Just barely getting the top score with 164.52, 1.52 points more than the second place scoring team. I fucks your mom.
Good job, Sean. You're finally in the money.
Hey, you might not make the playoffs, but you're gonna make more on this season than some folks.
You're getting 20% back with that.
Next, we have the wet fart of the week. Goes to G-Men's Crusaders.
Oh, thankfully, it's not me.
He takes the shit cake once again, putting up just 84.36 points.
That's very difficult position to be in when you're right on the cusp of the playoffs. Like
Yeah,
you're
it's
in,
tough.
but it's
And like he's putting up sub 100
Yeah.
weeks pretty regularly at this point.
yeah,
That's like Colin, you know, he's putting up
big numbers.
150, 200, so he's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, but
Baba's putting sub 100, he's feeling pretty bad, but still got 2 weeks left.
yeah,
Let's see what happens.
We really don't know how it will go, but I could tell you one thing: it will go.
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, continuing. Bam! The keeper alert.
All right.
So,
All right, brother.
brother. So the keeper alert: injuries. Isaiah Pacheco still out since week 2, but may be returning this week. It looks like he
I think
will
it's
be.
pretty certain.
He had a full practice.
They're talking about split carries between him and Kareem.
Cool. Brandon Ayuk still out and will continue to be out since week 7.
Forever.
Week 10's Dalton Kincaid injury hopefully won't trickle through to week 12 as he's needed in fantasy teams around the country. And then week 11's Brock Purdy injury trickled into the week where he missed the week. The 49ers performed horribly, and it looks like he'll be back. Bench keepers, good job, guys. Nobody benched any keepers. However, we have a new category, dropped keepers. And Babalu, you dropped the first keeper. You couldn't hold on to somebody who's putting up 0.5, 0.3, negative 0.3.
Yeah.
I understand.
Especially with a rookie, Jalen Wright. Is that his name?
Jalen Wright, he's getting more, he's hogging.
I really liked
the
him
backfield
coming
more.
out of Tennessee, and so it makes sense that he's getting carries.
Radio Raheem Mostert is now a free agent. Nobody even claimed him on waivers.
Yeah.
Damn.
Smart man, though.
Still
Smart
the
man.
only traded keepers, Dalton Kincaid and Mark Andrews. That's been going really good for Jay.
Yeah. Not
And-
so much for you.
Oh, the other guy, yeah. The players on bye this past week, Dalton Kincaid, Drake London, Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara, and James Cook. It was packed chock full of bye weeks. And finally, the keeper of the week was DJ Moore. Welcome back to this segment. 26.9 fantasy points will do that.
Welcome.
So now Pascal is going to get you going into the winners section, which I am absent from again.
I'm finally back. Starting with Punks in Drubley.
You win.
Devon Achan puts up 20.6 compared to 18.6. And Rashad White puts up 11.7 compared to 11 for 2.7 over expected.
Yippee.
Boston Bulldogs has Breece Hall on bye and Dalton.
win.
Oh, sorry, I'm too fast.
It's okay. He still wins.
Women have been telling me that my whole life. And Dalton Kincaid also on bye for a total of a bye over expected.
Bye.
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 Bye, bye, bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Yeah, I'm bad with
I love that dance.
All right. We have the Millfuckers.
You win.
With Brock Purdy, who, as you said, was hurt.
He loses.
And Drake London, who was on bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
So he had 0 over expected.
Ooh, very nice with the win.
Salute your short fellows.
You win.
Had CJ Stroud put up 15.7 compared to 6.4, and George Kittle put up 20.2 compared to 13.3 for 6.1 over expected.
Ooh, great.
Next we have I Fucks Your Mom.
You win.
With Deebo Samuel putting up 3.1
Yuck.
compared to 10.9 expected, and Zay Flowers putting up 11.2 compared to 13.7 expected for 10.3 under expectation.
Ooh, but he still won.
Next, we have Captain Cannabis.
You win.
With 20.7 compared to 15.9 for 4.8 over expected.
Excellent. Okay, now let's go to the shitty part of the list. The losers. We start off with Catch This Fade,
Ya loser.
who had Nico Collins put up 20.2, 3.5 points over his expected value, and James Cook on bye with 3.5 over his expected value. Catch This Fade leans into a loss. Next we have East Coast Virus.
Ya loser.
I know I was there. He has Kyler Murray go for 10.3, 8 points under his expected value, and Mark Andrews go off for 15.9 on someone else's team, which is 4 points over his expected value, leaving him 4 points under his expected value. Next we have Steal Your Face Mask,
Ya loser.
who had a dismal day from Jonathan Taylor with 3.5, 11 points under his expected value, and other keeper Kyron Williams puts up 11.2, which is 4.5 under his expected value, which leads to 15.5 under expected. Woof. Next, we have the auto draftees,
Ya loser.
who has Alvin Kamara on bye and DJ Moore, who puts up 26.9, which is 17 over expected value. How did you lose with that? But you did. Next, we have G-Men's Crusaders. losers.
Ya loser.
Who dropped Raheem Mostert prior to putting up 1.2, which is 5 points under his expected value, and Sam Laporta puts up a whack 4.9, which is 3 points under expected value. Babalu puts up 8 points under expected value. And finally, we have, oh, great.
Ya loser.
Who puts up Isaiah Pacheco, who's on IR, and puts up Brandon Ayuk, who's on IR, so he gets an ear.
He's going to get an earful from his fantasy team.
Ear.
Ya loser.
You loser. Next, we will have the 3 and out segment.
Hold on.
Oh,
I want to talk about keepers, right?
yes.
Because we've seen a season of keepers at this point, and what I'm seeing is
It's fun.
it's fun, but also these are not the people driving your team, right?
Yeah,
like,
you would expect Billy's Kyron and Jonathan Taylor to load up and kill
like,
it.
and they've given him a lot of wins, so
They
I'm not
started
saying
off
that,
good.
right? But
they've been flanking
a lot of us are
in a
seeing
negative way.
a lot of us are seeing pretty pedestrian outcomes from our keepers. So it really shows you that like picking the wrong keepers can hold you back. Picking the right keepers can leave you kind of where you are and not really add that much.
And
If you get super duper keepers, Nico Collins, they get injured. If you get super duper keepers, Jonathan Taylor and Kyron Williams, so they have a lot of bad weeks. So,
if you're picking your nose, you might pick a winner.
ooh, is
Don't do
is that what was on my mustache before?
It was
Oh.
dangling. I wasn't going to say anything, but I was worried that it might fly over to my side of the table. On that note,
3 and out.
now the 3 and out segment has been shortened as the trade deadline came and went.
Yeah.
So we're just going to talk about players that you don't need to be rostering with some straight drops and then some straight drop questions, and then we're out of here.
Yeah, get out of there,
You,
buddy.
you
Get
got
out of
any?
there,
You got any
pal.
straight drops queued up, or you want me to go, or what do you got?
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with any Broncos running back.
Good call.
Simply because it's something that I mentioned last week about how they were on the downswing.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Sean Payton likes to go with the hot hand. And so if you are planning on starting them any week, there's basically a 33% chance that your guy is not going to be the guy that week. So as we get closer to the playoffs, that's not something you can
It's
count
actually
on.
a 67% chance of him not being the guy. There's a 33% chance of him being the guy and putting up 8 points.
Yeah, did I say that wrong?
It's all good.
And so it's just really not worth keeping them. I should drop Audric Estime.
You should have just dropped him for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Kendrick Bourne though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And
Too
yeah,
many
so
Patriots.
I just feel like the Broncos running backs is not really worth their weight in manure.
Yeah, my first straight drop is gonna go to Jordan Mason. Now CMC's back fully. Jordan Mason is not really getting the ball that much. Now, of course, if CMC goes down, then he's gonna be a hot ad. However, CMC has gotten back to full health. Didn't perform well, but definitely in terms of the amount of carries and plays that he saw compared to Jordan Mason, it's time to drop him for somebody that might be a handcuff to somebody else. Then again, he is a handcuff, so if
gotta
you have CMC,
I've got to disagree with you just because Mike also has
Mike
McCaffrey.
has CMC, yeah. So it does make sense to keep
in
him.
our league, right?
Yeah.
If the other leagues, if other people listen to this, I don't know. I feel like the high re-injury risk for McCaffrey, it makes it worth still keeping him if
Yeah.
you're in the playoff hunt, because McCaffrey could go down any of these weeks and then
straight
boom, like that.
drop with an asterisk.
Yeah. My straight drop is someone who's been on this list for quite a while.
Don't tell me that it's freaking the Saints triple backup running back.
Oh, if he's still on someone's roster, then yes, drop him now. But no, I didn't look for Jamal Williams, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about Dalvin Cook.
Ooh.
What are you doing?
What a stud. Dalvin
How
Cook.
about we look at Dalvin Cook's points on the year?
How many carries?
He has 8 rush attempts
For how many yards?
for 20 yards for a total of
It's like 2.2 a carry.
points on the year.
And how many games has he actually gotten those carries in?
2.
And how long ago was the last time he saw the field?
Week 9, so 3 weeks ago.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Maybe it's like a bet. Like, I bet I can make the playoffs with Dalvin Cook on my bench or some shit.
Well, he's right. He got the second most points last week, so I do feel kind of weird telling people who are in the playoffs what to do. But I mean, yeah, drop Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, that's a free spot. My final straight drop this week will be Tutu not so well. Tutu Atwell. You're in a flooded receiver room now that Puka and Cooper are both back. You got other likes of Demarcus Robinson, Colby Parkinson, the running back Kyron Williams. It's just time to release Tutu into the wild.
Yeah.
And that's just an easy grab for
And
straight drop.
My last one shouldn't even be on a roster. It should be taken up by Tua Tagovailoa. It's Tommy Cutlets.
Tommy Cutlets.
Because you never should have picked him up in the first place.
Also, we didn't mention in the injury list that Tommy Cutlets is dealing with a forearm injury and probably won't play for Thanksgiving. So it's a lock that Drew Lock will probably be the quarterback who's throwing to Darius Slayton, Malik Neighbors, and the like.
As it should have been anyway.
Yeah.
Like, who is going to want to go to the Giants now after they do crap like that? Like, it's such bad team
it's bad. As a Giants fan, I am just not very happy.
Yeah.
I'm never going to change my allegiance, but hot damn, it sucks to be a Giants fan right now.
Yeah. No wonder Malik Neighbors was in the locker room talking about Ask Dabes, because it looks like Dabes might be trying to coach his way out of New York.
Yeah.
Into New York, because he's going to leave New Jersey and go back to the Bills.
How about a straight drop question? I came up with a pretty good one.
Okay.
Two, what are supposed to be, I'm doing air quotes, powerhouse tight ends, Sam Laporta or Dallas Goedert. If you had to drop one, who you dropping? It's tough, right?
Wow, that's tough. I'm probably dropping Dallas Goedert if I have them both on my team, simply because Sam Laporta, you've got to assume, still has keeper value. I'm not a big fan of keeping tight ends the same way I'm not a big fan of keeping quarterbacks. But if you don't really have better options, I believe that Sam would be kept for a 9th next year. And so
Dallas would be a 10th, I think. I think he was drafted late, I believe.
But
so.
he's getting older. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you have less of a likelihood of Dallas being good into the 8th keeper, 7th round keeper, 6th round keeper, whereas Sam Laporta could definitely bounce back next season and be a top 5 tight end in the league.
I'd agree for a different reason. I just think that the Lions passing game is that much better than the Eagles passing game. Whereas the Eagles' run game and the Lions' run game are pretty tied up if you combine all the points. It's just among 2 running backs on Detroit and 1 in
Goff
Philly.
is definitely much more of a passer.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is definitely much more of a running, more well-rounded quarterback.
Yeah, and you should see more consistency from Sam Laporta, where Dallas Goedert has those random games where he gets 10 targets.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
it's a good answer.
My straight drop question is a quarterback question.
Oh, cool. All right, good.
Do you drop Bo Nix, Jordan Love, or Anthony Richardson?
That one's easy for me. And if you want me to rank them as to who I'd drop,
Sure.
I'd drop Anthony Richardson, the highest drafted fantasy value this year, at least before the season. Anthony Richardson's just showing that he just isn't. He's not melding well with his receivers. He's not throwing the ball enough. He's running into injury risks, and his team is just not doing good. They're not relying on Jonathan Taylor.
Anthony Richardson of 4 games in double digits this year.
Yeah. Bo Nix would be the one I keep. I would actually drop Jordan Love prior to Bo Nix because of his keeper value. And I just think there's two, the Green Bay Packers are good, but they're just good. I don't think they're outstanding. I know they blew out the 49ers, but
Jordan Love has 3 games over 20 points.
and Bo Nix has what? 6 games over 20?
Let's see. Bo Nix has 1, 2, 3, 4 over
Okay.
20.
So yeah.
So, but he's been on a tear of double-digit games ever since
5 out of 6
week
weeks.
5.
Yeah.
No, ever since week
Oh,
5.
really?
Yeah. So yeah.
So I'd
that's
go
smart.
Nix, Love, Richardson. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think that's smart.
Cool. All right, guys, and then the finalized trades, just a quick update. Dalton Kincaid was on bye this past week. Chris Olave is still dealing with his head. Mark Andrews put up 15.6, respectable. DeAndre Swift kind of dudded out with a 9.5. That's expected with the Bears' kind of subpar offense lately. And then the other trade, Steal Your Face Max and Captain Cannabis, Cortland Sutton dominating. He's in the top 10 receivers now, dude. 29.7 points. I'm so pissed that I dropped him so long ago. I could definitely use that type of point structure.
Yeah, I probably should have taken that trade back in the day.
Yeah, you should have. And then Kareem Hunt puts up 11.7, which is not too bad for, being on the Chiefs. They suck. Baker Mayfield puts up 18.66, which is respectable, and Billy's getting ready to slot him in on week 14, and hopefully he fails tremendously that week. And Deontay Johnson, another goose, so he's looking like the worst out of all 8 players in the trades this year.
I feel like someone predicted that. Me.
Oh,
I'm someone.
Oh, I thought I was someone.
But maybe. Yeah.
I think we're both someone.
Are you that somebody?
For somebody. Also, in terms of predictions, like I just want to bring it back real quick, just to just go crazy that I called that Daniel Jones to the Vikings 30 seconds.
Yeah,
before
no,
it
that
happened.
was really impressive.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was really good.
So, guys, we're gonna move along to freshman football this week. Pascal's gonna tell you who did what and how they did it.
All right. We have Marvin Harrison Jr. putting up 7.7. Malik Neighbors putting up 12.4. Xavier Worthy putting up 9.1. Keon Coleman still hurt. Or no, they were on bye. But he's also still hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But they were on bye.
Hurt by.
Bye. Then we have Rome Adunze with 8.9.
It looked so much better of a day.
Lad McConkey for 14.3. Jaden Daniels with a monster 30.4. Trey Benson leading his team in rushing yards with 1.8 points.
Doo-doo.
Blake Corum with 0.5.
Wetter doo-doo.
Brian Thomas Jr. on bye, right?
Yeah. Probably took a doo-doo on by.
Caleb Williams with 26.9.
Not bad, man.
Kudos.
Good job.
Brock Bowers, 7.8.
Finally fell off the face of the earth.
Ricky Pearsall, Zettel.
Settle.
Jordan Whittington, Zettel.
Settle.
Drake May, 13.48.
Woofies.
Bo Nix, 19.42.
Not too shabby.
Spencer Rattler, Zettel.
Didn't see the field.
Xavier Leggett, 9.6. Ray Davis, bye.
Bye.
Bucky Irving, 27.1.
Monster.
Tyrone Tracy with 9.
Yuck.
The top 3 scorers of the week were Jaden Daniels in first with 30.4. Bucky Irving in second with 27.1. And Caleb Williams in third with 26.9.
Nice stuff, man. We're going to go ahead and shine the spotlight on Caleb Williams this week. The 6'1", 215-pound quarterback born in Washington, D.C. He attended high school at Gonzaga College High School. Weird, right? It's true. It's in D.C. Then he actually went to college after going to college and high school at Oklahoma to start his career in 2021, where he crushed it. He entered the portal the following year and went to USC for the 22 and 23 season.
Following his coach.
Yeah, he followed the coach, and they did very well. Just to bring some awards to light, there's too many of them to name. He has been very decorated.
That boy good.
He was the Gatorade Player of the Year in his sophomore year of high school. His senior season was canceled due to COVID in 2020,
one of them.
which is interesting. You know, it's like, man, these guys are now NFL starters, and like they were in high school when we were like trying to like start businesses in COVID. Then he was the Heisman Trophy winner, the Maxwell Trophy winner, the Walter Camp Award recipient in 2022, also the AP and SN College Player of the Year in 2022. He even had his number 13 retired by USC, which is pretty impressive.
God, how did they end up with enough numbers if you're retiring a guy that early after his?
I think
USC
they
career?
it's what they do is they retire. If you win the Heisman Trophy in USC, they retire your number off the bat.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Once you leave.
Yeah.
So the Bears drafted this player first round, first pick overall. That's how good he seemed to be, and he's playing pretty good in the NFL.
The Bears are the Jets of the NFC. They are a black hole for quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, there's so many to name. And then Boston Bulldogs drafted him in the 11th round, 128th overall. His NFL stats are as follows. In 11 games played, he's completed 233 of 372 passes for 2,356 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 5 picks. He's also ran the ball 55 times for 339 yards and no touchdowns. Caleb Williams should be a stalwart, a staple in the NFL for years to come. And it's cool that he has a little bit of a different style where he paints his nails and rocks
Out
emo gear.
and loves his mother.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, I got no problem with Caleb.
And he certainly seems like he knows what he's doing. So
I'm glad that the Pats ended up with Drake May. The Commanders are happy they ended up with Jaden Daniels. The Bears, I don't know. I got to
Broncos-
assume they're happy they ended up with Caleb.
the Broncos are happy with Knicks.
Yep.
The Saints, Rattler. That's not really.
I wonder
something-
how Vikings fans feel, but they were feeling good about JJ McCarthy before the season started. And Falcons fans got to feel good about Michael Penix, even though he hasn't played much.
Oh, a fun fact about Caleb Williams as well, as I was researching him, he actually Spencer Rattler was the starter when he went
Yes, he
to
was.
Oklahoma, and
Spencer Rattler was thought to be that guy coming out of high school.
but 6 games through, Caleb took the starting role and
Sure
never
did.
looked back. So,
Did not.
Um,
And Spencer got taken in the 5th, and Caleb got taken first overall.
exactly. So that'll bring us along to the
Market Watch.
So,
So I'll start.
yeah,
I'm starting out with one of my guys.
your guys.
Yes, who I took as a handcuff to my keeper.
Damn.
His name is Bucky Irving, and
Monkey
he
Bucky.
is on the rise.
He's rising.
He unofficially takes over his RB1 duties for the Bucks with a monster game, and the only running back on their team who has shown propensity to consistently run through the middle of the offensive line.
Cool. I'm going to continue kind of from the last segment and talk about Caleb Williams, whose stock is rising.
Okay,
In my opinion, I think Caleb Williams is finally starting to meld with his receivers. And although Roma Dunze only put up, 8.9, he put up, all those catches were very important to the game.
Yeah.
They ended up losing the game, but did almost stage one of the best comebacks of the season.
Fantasy is not real life, folks.
Yeah, exactly. The points don't reflect how important they were. Like, you might have somebody who puts up 30 points and it was
None
a
of them
blowout,
matter,
and
right.
it doesn't matter. Yeah. So
Oh,
that's
you
why
mean
Caleb's.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on.
So next, I have Kareem Hunt, whose stock is down.
Well, that would be expected.
Yes. Isaiah Pacheco is back, and it has already been stated that they will be splitting carries, and their touches will be situational, which tells me third down back, maybe a little bit more.
This is
maybe
helpful.
a little bit less.
This is very helpful to everyone who is not a Pacheco or Kareem Hunt owner.
Well,
Okay.
if you're playing them, then it helps you to have
Yeah.
an idea of what might happen.
Very true. My next highlight will actually go to Jaden Daniels.
Oh, surprise.
We should have segued into that. Jaden Daniels, although he was the top scoring quarterback this week, his stock is going down.
I got to agree.
And it's just kind of like you got to look at the season as a whole. He started off so stellar, so molten hot that he can't really go up from there.
People were talking about him as an MVP candidate.
MVP.
A lot of people on this show
Yep.
were saying that he and the Commanders were the best bet to win the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, Offensive Player of the Year. The list goes on. He is playing great, but he's kind of settling down.
He's putting up numbers for fantasy, but I wouldn't say he's playing great.
I would say this. I would say he's CJ Stroud compacted into one season.
Now, I
across
feel like
2 seasons.
one of the members of this show mentioned about how Cliff Kingsbury's offense tends to fizzle out in the second half of the season.
That's true.
And it seems like
I did
that's
say that.
happening.
Actually, I did actually ask you earlier in the season, Bo Nix or Jaden Daniels, and you laughed at it.
I did.
And now it's starting to look a little more the opposite.
Well, early in the season, it was laughable.
It was laughable.
But it's not anymore. Well,
Certainly.
actually, it is still laughable because Bo Nix has run away with that one, folks. It helps being on a good team with a great offensive line and an amazing defense.
Amazing.
So, my next person on this list is Nico Collins, who is on the rise.
Oh, Nico Collins on the rise. He's been doing excellent. You
Yes.
think he could do better?
Well, if he hadn't had 2 touchdowns called back for penalty in the last 2 weeks, he would be the wide receiver 1 since his return.
I didn't realize
So,
he had another one called back. Was it
one in each game.
Was it for the same penalty? Was it
I think it was holding and
it
then
was
like
last
another
last week it was
like
it
a
was,
formation penalty.
Yeah,
or
it was
something.
illegal
Yeah.
formation on
It's
like a
like-
7. It was the first play of the game.
Both of the
7-yard touchdown.
Right. Both of the penalties had nothing to do with his score.
Yeah.
They had no impact on it. And so he's likely going to keep doing that. And going into the playoffs, that's the guy you want on your team.
If you're his dentist, you better be ready. He was probably grinding his teeth pretty hard.
Especially in a loss. Yeah.
We're going to stay in the receiver room and we're going to talk Jacoby Myers, whose stock is rising.
Yeah.
Unbelievably.
I
He
can't
had a
believe-
great week.
Can't believe Bill let him go to get friggin' Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, it didn't look great because you had, the likes of Minshew and Aiden O'Connell and then all these other random quarterbacks. It seems that he does better with random no-name quarterbacks, so let's see what the future holds for him.
All right. My last guy is Najee Harris.
Nah, G, nah.
Yeah, bro.
Nah,
Yeah, bro.
G.
Jaden
Harris.
Warren once again outperforms him, and it's got to be a matter of time before it takes hold, right?
I assume so, but I still
But probably
think
not
I-
because
yeah,
that's
just-
just how they rock.
And
but-
and they're two different running styles. Najee actually this season has looked like such a bruiser that I've been on it, but
I know, but
then he falls off the following week. Like,
he's always
very
been
spotty.
like that.
Yeah.
He's always been like that.
Yeah.
Like Trent Richardson.
Yeah.
More Trent Richardson than Derrick Henry.
I signed him off like 2 years ago.
Yeah, me too.
And
Not a fan.
but he started picking up steam again this year, but it just he's dudding out. So
Yeah.
And my final player to highlight would be keeper Deebo Samuel,
Oof. Woof.
whose stock is falling to the floor faster than his pants when he takes a shit, because that's what he's doing on the field.
Yeah, he is.
So I didn't write that.
I'm telling you, those extra games in the playoffs every year, it takes its toll. And he's a running back / wide receiver, and running backs have short shelf lives. So.
And he's injury prone and very situational. It seems like he has insane weeks sometimes, and then not so insane weeks other times, and then
Yeah.
3 points like he did this week
Yep.
occasionally. So
Yep, it's tough to start him,
It's tough. Yeah, it's very
but
difficult.
it's also
to deal
tough
with
to
that.
bench him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You got any more? Are we
No,
good?
that's it.
All right, let's move on.
Sly as a fox.
Yeah,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Who's your sly as a fox pick?
I gotta give it to the Captain Cannabis.
Captain Cannabis.
For his trade with Steal Your Face Mask.
Yeah.
Which netted him 40 points between Cortland Sutton and Kareem Hunt, without which he wouldn't have beaten Catch This Fade,
Yeah, he did.
with which he would have, sorry.
No, you said it right.
Yeah, without which he wouldn't have beaten Catch This Fade.
Without which.
Since Deontay Johnson put up another goose egg and Baker put up less than Matt Stafford. And on the other side of things, Steal Your Face Mask might have beaten me
Yeah.
with those extra 40 points.
Yeah.
So
Seems like a gift that you guys might have worked out. Maybe you were involved in this weird trade scenario, this collusion.
well, I mean, I was, because I said no to a trade for, I think it was CeeDee Lamb and Cortland Sutton CeeDee Lamb and whoever the Colts non-used running back was for Cortland Sutton, and I believe it was for Garrett Wilson. Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, probably should have taken that trade.
All right. Well, I'll give you guys my Sly as a Fox pick then. Damn, you really should have taken that trade. My Sly as a Fox pick goes to somebody who lost this week, and his fantasy name is Great. Now, Great is getting his Sly as a Fox for adding Tua and NWI and the Houston defense for nearly 60 points in his starting lineup this past week.
Wow.
Picking up those guys in the last 10 days. He got Houston D last week. Then he picked up Tua after I dropped him. He
got
did.
Houston
Yeah.
D.
No pause.
Hey, yo.
No, I'm just kidding. So he picked up Tua during this week in waivers.
Did you hear Drake May drop the pause in his
Oh,
in his press
he did?
conference?
I'm sure
He's like he was saying something. He's like, yeah, you got to feel those guys out. Pause on that one, and then just kept it moving. all the old fogies in Boston media were like, yeah, I think he's saying pause because he had to stop and think about what he was going to say next.
That's funny.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
Well, Colin picked up Tua this week in waivers after I dropped him, not needing him anymore. He crushed it.
Scott, that never should have happened. Colin never should have gotten to pick up Tua. That should have been you.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Or he should have just been on my team and I should have started him and beat Scott. Great Scott!
Well done. Great, Scott.
Yeah. And then Colin, I was talking to him on Saturday night and he's like, I have a great idea. I can't tell you about it until, and I was like, he's like, until waivers clear. And I was like, dude, the only player that's like on waivers that is worth picking up is Nikhil Westbrook-Ikine. And to be honest with you, it's really not that great of a pickup. But it proved early in the game to be great because he got that 38-yard touchdown that he was banking on. Unfortunately, his total fantasy performance only put up like 12, which is not bad. And then,
double digits.
It is better than who he dropped. I can't remember who it was now.
Yeah, and I don't think the
it might not go back.
That list, it's not working right now. So.
Yeah, so no worries. But he made the better choice, I would just have to say.
Kudos.
And then the Houston defense, picking them up last week, they put up 18 this week. So definitely they got a defensive touchdown. They're looking like the Vikings did in the first half of the season.
Yeah, dropped Houston's defense to keep the 49ers.
So Colin's team is like a collection of our old teams and
basically
mushed together.
Basically,
the
you're
bench
welcome.
riders. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. You're welcome for all those bench points that you put into your starting lineup.
Yeah.
You know?
Welcome. You're welcome.
You're welcome. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and skip the game plan this week and go straight into outer space.
Parallel universe.
The parallel universe. All right, the Family League. Great White blew out East Coast Virus, the 1 versus the 2. We know this. We're not going to talk about it.
Well done, Julia.
Thank you, Julia, for beating the crap out of me. The highlight in this league,
That's abuse.
4 teams are battling for 3 final playoff spots. Much better situation than we find in Put It in the Air. Currently, Victoria, Vivi Ramon, is on the outside looking in. In the Lion's Den, we have a highlight, the Brotherly Duds. Jay and Craig Rittberg had quite the matchup with both teams underperforming. It was anyone's game come Monday night, though, as butt fumbles put up Derrick Henry against the team with no Namaths, Rashad Bateman and Justin Tucker.
What good names.
Leading 90.16 to 88.7. Derrick Henry underperformed, putting up just 14, and Justin Tucker's 7 points combined with Rashad Bateman's 11.3 helped propel team with no Namath to victory over butt fumbles 107 to 102.16. It was a good, tight matchup. Another good, tight matchup. Billy, you might want to fast forward through this because you don't want to hear about my fantasy teams. But you might want to hear this one. Steal Your Face Mask led 117.92 to 110.16 going into Monday Night Football against East Coast Virus. He must have been thrilled to see that East Coast Virus last player, Roquan Smith, was questionable all week and subsequently ruled out. The Virus made a move to bring in Chargers linebacker Deion Henley to try to steal the victory. It couldn't have been closer, and Henley puts up 7.0, and Steal Your Face Mask wins 117.92 to 117.16, and I'm sour.
As the Virus hopes for a stat correction before the end of the day.
It actually could happen for my favor. That'd be great. And then in the Hoop, There It Is League, shout out to Jen, Rod, and Frank, Scranton Stranglers, Gotham's Finest, and East Norwalk Alcoholics, who are just behind Efren and the Bridgeport Velcro Athletics at 4-1 apiece. You guys are doing great. Keep it going. All right. So we really just have one segment left for you guys, and that would be...
Doghouse.
Woof.
Meow.
I will start off.
You shall.
The doghouse this week is my good friend and compatriot, Brendan Casello.
Thank you for joining me in the doghouse.
Still haven't got my money, bitch.
I've got it. It's all bundled up, getting ready to be sent out via FedEx digitally this week.
Yeah, we'll see.
And my doghouse pick, who other than Aguerald Antoine. Aww. With the name I Fucks Your Mom, you, sir, are in the doghouse. Change your name, Maggie. All right, guys.
I feel like you and Aggie just own this spot at this point.
Yeah, we really do, man. So yeah, guys, thanks for listening to episode 13 of Put It in the Air, and always remember, when getting ready to feast, to put it in the air.
This is the Put It in the Air podcast.
All right, that was a pretty good episode.
Yeah, I think it was quicker than others, I hope.
Well, I friggin' hope so.
And...
An hour 36.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
We've had full episodes that were about this long, but I'll take it.
We have room for an interview.
We do.
We got Frank, Marv, Babalu,
Scott.
Sean, Scott, and Aggie. Three of them have kind of
Tapped
declined
out. Yeah.
our offer. But I think we can
That's
get some
all
of them in.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll try our hardest.
We'll surprise you guys next week with our guest.
Ooh.
Who do you think is going to be? Who do
One
you
of,
want
one of those 6 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How about we go for
Mr.
Mr. Frank? Mr. Frank.
Would you like to come on, Mr. Frank?
Mr. Frank, you are needed.
Please come. Keep us company.
And if we get a no,
Then
which
we'll
we've gotten
find
before,
someone else.
then Marvelous, it is your time.
You have been called.
You win sometimes, most of the time.
But not all of the time. And on that note, we out.
Yeah, peace.